What's up, everybody? It's your boy Joshua Saki, back with another video. You know what, guys. Anyways, last night I finished part 1 of Hocus Pocus and the all new sequel thing. It has the original the movie that we saw in the 1993 Disney Channel movie, but in book form, and then it has the sequel that features the two main Max and Allison from the original story's daughter, and she fights the Sanderson Sisters. The interesting thing about this book, oh my god, it's like I learned some shit. We found out some shit. We learned about the 3 centuries, about what they were doing in hell for the 3 centuries they were there. Well, we learned that they never got to meet Satan while they were there. They saw him, but never got to meet him personally. The only time they saw him in the book is that they claimed it's when he was flying around hell with his black chariot. They remember that they were there. They were in and they had a giant palace, weirdly enough, in hell. So he had a palace, and he had all these people invited, and he did remember being there being demons and other creatures and goblins and ghouls and all these things in hell, and people being tortured. And she said she remembered meeting a bunch of other demons and cool things. And she used to hang out near a guy. She one time saw a guy in a black robe with no face. So I remember reading that. I'm like, okay, obviously that is either death. It's probably death. It's definitely death, because death, and he had chains on him. I think he said death and chains. So I'm guessing it was death in that part. But the biggest reveal we've got so far in this book, right here, is about the Sanderson Sisters, mostly Winnie's book, and what happened to it after they died. See, what happened was, the book was being held by Elijah, which is one of the guy, Thackeray is the guy who gets turned into a cat, best friend, who's actually the priest, I guess it was a priest or bishop's assistant, so he was holding the spell book. And when they were starting to sing, he dropped the book, and I guess forgot about picking it up, and then someone, after they had been hanged, picked it up. Now, when they go into the book, and it has a list of all the people who ever owned the freaking book, this is what we got. And I remember saying, WTF, or what the fuck, when I read that scene. Let me find that scene, though, okay? Right here. Allison took a breath and lifted the cover. She skimmed the first page, which included a list of names she assumed belonged to former owners of the book. Gunelda Arden, Odelina Arden, Isoda Fitzroy, Mathilda Picardi, Evan Amos, and Frances Harvey, and then Cecily Sanderson, Emma Sanderson, Drizella Sanderson, Winifred Sanderson, and last, Elizabeth Sanderson. That's odd, Allison said, examining the final name. The list she ran and forgot the finger out. What is Mass asked that the last name on the list isn't Winifred. Well, I'm gonna have a theory right here, folks. I have a feeling. Now it's not a big feeling, but it's a feeling that Elizabeth Sanderson is either it's a multi-theory. It'd be like evolution of Evie theory. Basically, it goes 2 ways. Either Elizabeth Sanderson is a fourth sister of the Sanderson Sisters, or she is one of the offspring or child of Elizabeth of one of the Sanderson Sisters. Now, the best 2 I can think of would be Winnie or Sarah. Obviously, it's Sarah, because Sarah's always sex crazy. I mean, if you read the book, she's in the show, she's like, "Oh, boys, can I play with them?" I'm like, "Girl, what the fuck's wrong with you?" I remember reading that. I remember reading this entire book, but girl, what the fuck's wrong with you? Were you dropped on your head when you were a kid? Something like that? I don't know. But the biggest other... So anyways, then he says... Then what happened was the book disappeared for 5 days, okay? They were executed on the night of October 31st, 1693. And then at the end of the chapter of the book, what we got was this, and we didn't get this in the actual movie, I don't believe, was when the kids who were locked up in the house, the Jay and Ernie, they see the book move and it flies out of the house, of the Sanderson house, looking for a new master, or for its old master, or new master. It didn't say really say. I think it said old master or a new master. And then after we finish the book, here's what we got. I'm gonna read it right here, guys. Ready? Part 2. Picture of the Sanderson house, and it says this. Ready? Accept my fate, though you know not why. You all of you despise me for things that you believe me to have done, and yet I know the greatest mark upon my soul was doing nothing at all. Elizabeth Sanderson, November 5th, 1693. Last words as recorded in the journal of Samuel Parris. Now, what that we can get is, there was another Sanderson. She's the one who took the book, I have a feeling. And I have a feeling was, when she says the last thing she regrets is not doing nothing at all, would it either be one of two things. Not stopping her mother and her aunts from doing what they did, or not stopping the townsfolk from killing her mother and aunts. Now, I don't know which is which. That's why, because I don't know. But I'm going to tell you this. Elizabeth Sanderson might be a daughter or a fourth sister. I doubt it's the mother, because they already said the mother died in the book. The other cool thing about this book is the artwork is so beautiful. Here, I'll give you a look at the artwork real quick. In the book here. That's the artwork for part of the book. Yeah, I'll give you a better look. That's the artwork. Yeah. Artwork. Then we get a full map of the town. Now it is in 2018. Oh my god, guys. I was a big fan of this movie when I was growing up as a kid. And I'm so a fan of it now. Hoping they make make another movie. And no offense to anybody here, but I want it to be made exactly like it was in the show, because Disney Channel from the early 2000s and late and early 90s was probably one of the greatest times to watch a Disney Channel movie. They had so much edgier and funnier things. They had adult jokes in there. I mean, like, the way Sarah Sanderson entire spiel wouldn't work in today's Disney Channel movies. It will not fly in Disney Channel movies today. She's too overly sexual, and she does make sexual jokes in some forms. Or when she says, I want to play with them, or when she gives them a kiss, and she's other things, and other than that way. And my favorite character I hate to say this, my two favorite characters, and I hate to say this, has been Binks the cat, which is actually Thackeray Binks, who is transformed. I do like Max, don't get me wrong, but he's not my favorite character. And Billy Butcherson, the ex-lover of Sarah and Winifred Sanderson, Winifred found him with Sarah, got pissed, and then killed him, poisoned him, and then brought him back in the book to help him. My favorite, I love this scene right here. I'll just show it to you. It's my favorite scene too. I'll read it to you guys. Here we go. Let me find it real quick. Billy who was fighting with Max over for the knife, his dad's pocket knife. Catch the children, she said. Max winced as Billy overpowered him, forcing the knife closer and closer to Max's throat. Then Billy surprised him by levering Max's hand higher above his head. Billy sliced through the threads that sewed his mouth shut. He released Max and then gave a dirty, dry, guttural cough. Small brown mouths flew from his lips and fluttered away. Come now, Winifred ordered. Kill him! Do it now! Wench! Billy snapped at Winifred Trollop! Max found this a bit rich since Billy had been the one running around with his girlfriend's younger sister. You buck-toothed, mop-riding firefly from hell! And he's like, I love that scene. We all know what he was trying to say to her. Winifred let out a scandalous screech. I've waited centuries to say that, Billy told Max. Say what you want, Max said, shrinking just away. Just don't breathe on me. Well, obviously he's been dead for 3 centuries. He's gonna have a very bad breath. That's the state of a cave, baby. That's what I would say. Billy said to Winifred, I killed you once, I shall kill you again, you maggoty malfeasance. Going back, Max into the waist and tugged and pulling both of them into the woods. My other favorite line was by Billy was, go to hell, or something like that, and he's like, and she says, I've actually been to hell, I found it very quite nice. Oh yeah, he says, Billy, who stood between Danny and the witch, glowered at Winifred. Go to hell, he said. The other Sanderson smiled to tell you, I've already been there, thank you, she said, and I found it quite lovely. Anyways, guys, the theory is Sarah Sanderson or Elizabeth Sanderson a sister, a fourth sister, or is she a daughter of one of the Sandersons? And again, the only two it could be would be Sarah or Winifred, because I doubt the other girl had Mary had a love interest in the series. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I will give you an update when I finish the book and what I find out, what I find out is true. From what I can tell from that intro to the part 2 about Sarah or Elizabeth, I could basically say that we will learn more about who she really is in this book. It's part 2. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you in the next video, guys.